Hello everyone. In this video we will see how we can use Lambda operators for filtering. We have these icon tab filters, VIP and regular, which doesn't work yet. So let's implement those. For a user to be considered as VIP, they will have to have at least one trip which costs 2000 or more, and we will not take into account the currencies to keep things simple. And for a user to be considered a regular, they shouldn't have any trips which costs 2000 or more. So this one has one. Let's check this one. So all of the trips for this user are less than 2000. First, let's see how we can do this in our browser quickly. Let me just copy the root URL of our service. And first, let's get all our people also with their trips. So $$ expand equal trips. And now first let's see how we can filter the VIP. For that we will use a filter with a lambda operator. So we say and $filter equals, and the first part will be the name of the entity set we would like to filter by. In our case it's named trips. So we say trips. And then we put a slash and we need to specify the lambda operator. We have two available. First is any, and the other one is all, like so. And since we would like to see if any of the trips of the user costs 2000 or more, we will use any. Then we put in parentheses. And now first we need to give our entities, so trip entities in our case, a name. We can use something short like a T, but I will use the trip name. Then we put in a comma. And finally we enter our actual filter, and our field name will be in this case trip/budget right here. Again, trip is the name we gave. Trip/budget should be greater than or equal to 2000. And now if we check, all our users have at least one trip which costs 2000, like this. And for the regular ones, let's also do that. And in this case, we will use the all operator. And all of the trip budgets must be less than, this time, 2000. And now if we check, we will not see any trips or any users who has trips which costs more than or equal to 2000. Now let's go ahead and implement the event handlers for our filters. So let's go to our code, and if we check our icon tab bar, we have this onSelect filter event handler, which is empty. Let's go ahead and implement it right here. We just have the selected key here and a switch case statement. First, let's get our tables binding. So var or table binding equals this dot get view dot by ID to get our table, and the ID of our table should be just table. And then we say dot get binding, and the binding we need is named items. And now we can filter our binding. When we select all, we want to remove any filter, so we can just say binding.filter and pass in an empty filter array. And now we get to our lambda operators. For VIP, again we say binding.filter. And now we will pass in a new filter. And it's very similar to what we did in our browser. First we need to specify the path. It was the trips navigation property, and then we need the operator, and we can use operator.any with a capital A this time. And I have already imported these, which is why we can directly use them. And we need the variable name that we decided on, and for us it was trips. And finally the condition, and it will also be a filter, so we say new filter again. And first we pass in the path, it was trip slash budget, then the operator dot greater than or equal to, and then we pass in 2000. Let's save and quickly check if it actually works. We click on VIP, there is an error. No metadata, let's check, we did something wrong. This name should be trip, not trips. Let's check again. And now we have less users, and let's see if they actually met the condition. Looks like it. And let's also do the regular one now. Let's just copy this one. And the difference is we will use all, since we want all the trips to meet our condition. And our condition will be this time, trips should be less than 2000. Now let's also check the regular ones. No trip for this one. Or they just don't have any trips. And exactly if we check other ones like this, they all meet the criteria. And if we click on all users, we get all the users. Now let's also implement the counts for each of these. But first, let's enable the inline count for our table binding. So again, we will split this. We'll say path is people. Then we say parameters. And the parameter we would like to use is named count. So it's $count, and we set it to true. And let's see what difference it makes. And now we can see the total count of our users, and it's identified by our list automatically, so we can see how many in total and how many we are seeing. Now let's add the counts to our tab filters here. Let's go up, and this one is all, and we have a count property for icon tab filters, and these will be bindings. This one will be the count of all people, so we can say people slash $count with no filters, and it should work. Okay, just needed some time. And now we have the count 20, which matches this count right here. And let's also do the ones for VIP and regular. And let's do it here after the icon. Count equals, and again it will be the people endpoint slash $count. But this time we will need some filters, so we will pass in a filter query option. This is $count, and we say $filter equals. And then we simply do the same thing that we did in our browser. So we can say trips slash any, the operator, then parentheses, and we can say trip slash budget greater than or equal to 2000. And since we cannot use empty spaces, we will replace them by %sign and 20 to escape them. And let's copy this one and use it for the regular as well. And this time we will have the all operator, and instead of greater than or equal, we will have less than. And now if we check, there is an error. Filter equals trip budget. No, I forgot the variable names. Trip here and here. Now let's save, check again, and now we get this error right here. OData type row does not support formatting, and we see this error because UI5 needs to know about the type of every field, and it usually comes from the metadata. So if we check our metadata right here, let's see schema, and let's check the trips. And we have our properties and also the types, EDM, GUID, string, decimal, etc. But when we get a count with a filter like this, it's just returning a raw value. And what that means is, let's try it right here. So we want people slash $count. And it's just a number, and UI5 does not know how to interpret this. And the way we can get around this is we can specifically tell UI5 that you will get a raw type of value and it's okay. And how we can do that is we need to split these, and we say path and then we can say type, and actually we can see this error message in our console along with the solution. Here we can see, oh, this is duplicate ID, so the error is right here, it does not support formatting, etc. And it says target type any may avoid the conversion, so we will use this solution exactly. So it's not type, it's target type, and we will set it to any. Let's also do the same for this one. Now if we check, the error is gone. And we have the counts 9 and 11, and they seem to be working. And that's how we can use Lambda operators in UI5. That would be all for this video, and see you in the next one.